A Silent Night. The formidable Bram Castle is located along the Danube River in a mysterious valley of the Carpathian Mountains. From the blood-chilling darkness within it, a centuries-old coffin opens itself. He wakes up with red eyes and sharp teeth and an unquenchable thirst for blood. The Lord of Fear. Count Dracula. Count Dracula is a character that has become synonymous with the word fear. Was this character just the imagination of the author of the Gothic fiction story? Or did Lord Dracula, who pushed human minds into the abyss of fear, really live? Bram Stoker's famous Gothic fiction novel Dracula has been synonymous with fear ever since it was first printed in 1897. Later, this creation became the theme of many plays and films. There are very few people in the world who haven't read this novel, who haven't heard about it. There is no stated hero in this novel. The story begins with Jonathan Harker, who comes from London to meet Count Dracula, a noble lord who lives in a mysterious castle in the Carpathian Mountains called Bran Castle, to secure a property deal. Some of the locals panic when Jonathan says that he must go to Bran Castle and see Lord Dracula. Their demeanor worries Jonathan, but he continues his journey regardless. Finally, many days after arriving at the castle, Jonathan does not see Lord Dracula even once during the day. Because during the day, he would be sleeping helplessly in his coffin. Lord Dracula only comes out of the coffin at nightfall. Lord Dracula survives by drinking blood, the hot blood of beautiful young women. Once Lord Dracula sinks his teeth into the neck and drinks the blood, the young women become his slaves and become bloodthirsty fairies just like him. Realizing that Lord Dracula is a vampire, Jonathan is locked inside the castle and Lord Dracula heads to London. In the following days, many young women in London become vampires under Dracula's spell. As the story progresses, Jonathan escapes from Dracula's castle and returns to London. With the help of Dr. Van Helsing, he sets out to exterminate Dracula and the young women who have been turned into vampires by his influence. Even though it is a supernatural monster, Dracula is afraid of the cross. After a long time of trying, finally one day this exorcism team puts Lord Dracula inside the coffin forever. This bloodthirsty vampire named Lord Dracula is not entirely a figment of Bram Stoker's imagination. What inspired Bram Stoker to create such a character was that a real man lived in history who had a nature similar to that of Lord Dracula. His name is Vlad the Impaler. To some, he was the psycho incarnate of the devil. To others, a valiant patriot who bravely resisted the invasion of tens of thousands of Ottoman Turkish soldiers who ventured to invade his country. Count Dracula, the protagonist of his novel, when the novelist attributed many things including the life circumstances and physical characteristics of Vlad the Impaler, it becomes an unforgettable character in the history of world literature. Transylvania. The genetics of fear are hidden in this name itself. Bordered by steep, pine-clad mountains and the snow-capped Carpathians, this region is the epitome of childhood fears for many of us. It is here that the mysteries lurk in Bran Castle. This is the only relic that exists on this earth today, as the last memory of Count Dracula, the bloodthirsty lord who can be described as the Lord of Fear, born from the pen of Bram Stoker. But what tourists visiting this castle can hear are legends about the life and revenge of a warlord known in medieval European history as Vlad the Impaler. It is said that Bram Stoker brought his character Dracula to life in 1897, inspired by the life of this Prince Vlad. But in terms of character and behavior, there is no significant connection between Prince Vlad and Lord Dracula. Elizabeth Miller, a professor at the University of Newfoundland who has researched Dracula, says in her essay, "Back to the Basics, Re-examining Stoker's Sources for Dracula." The truth is that the castle known today as Dracula's Castle was never the residence of Lord Vlad, Bram Castle somehow ended up being nicknamed Dracula's Castle because it was in the snow-capped Carpathian Mountains and looked rather mysterious. And how does Bram Stoker find Dracula? Some information about this can be found in the book Dracula Sense and Nonsense by Elizabeth Miller. In Search of Dracula, published in 1972 by historians Radu Florescu and Raymond T. McNally, the idea that Dracula and Vlad III were one and the same person spread around the world. Later, in 1992, when Gary Oldman played the role of Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was produced and distributed by the famous American director, Lord Dracula became known as a synonym of fear everywhere in the world. After that, tourists from all corners of the world start flocking to Bram Castle. The real history of Dracula begins with Vlad II, the father of Vlad III. He was the ruler of Wallachia, a province of present-day Romania in southeast Europe. In 1431, King Sigismund, then King of Hungary, later Emperor of the Roman Empire, appointed Vlad II as the head of an army known as the Order of the Dracul. Dracul was the name given to Vlad II after taking the position as a general. The origin of the word Dracul comes from the ancient Romanian word drac, meaning dragon. Vlad II's son, Vlad III, was then known as Dracula, meaning son of Dracula. Famous historian Constantin Rezacevici says in his article, From the Order of the Dragon to Dracula, that Dracula became Dracula when it came to English. Vlad II was the guardian of the Carpathian Mountains that bordered Wallachia. Historian Rezacevici says that the military regiment, the Order of the Dracul, led by Vlad II at the time, had only one goal. It was to protect the subjects of Wallachia from invasion by the Ottoman Turks. Like his father, his son Vlad III hated the Ottoman Turks. As their father was the voivode of Wallachia, Vlad III and his brother Radu had very good early childhood circumstances. But when Vlad II is deposed through the covert action of some rebels who were allied with the Hungarians, their comfortable living conditions are soon destroyed. In this unexpected attack, Vlad II asked for help from the Ottoman Turks, who were the archenemies of that time. The Ottoman Sultan then accepted the request for help, but demanded in return complete allegiance to Vlad II and the payment of a substantial annual tax. In 1442, Emperor Murad II of the Ottoman Empire summoned Vlad II to Turkey to negotiate a treaty on this matter. He traveled to Turkey with his sons, Vlad III and Radu, to meet the Sultan. A detailed account of these events can be found in the book Echoes of the Empire by James S. Kessler. The Sultan, who is ready to give protection to Vlad II, puts forward a condition. How can I believe that you will pay taxes without delay? The question is made from the Sultan's side, and the Sultan orders that your two sons should stay here as a surety for that. Vlad II then had no choice but to comply. Vlad III and his brother Radu received very good care there. During their time there, they were both trained in the sciences, arts, and martial arts, which later played a major role in making Vlad III a great warrior, Miller says in her book. They were there almost in a state of imprisonment. During this period, the Stockholm Syndrome forced Vlad III's younger brother Radu to convert to Islam and defect to the Ottoman side. But this stay in the Sultan's court caused Vlad III great resentment and an unquenchable hatred towards the Ottoman Turks. In that palace, Vlad III takes an oath that he will one day demand revenge from the Ottoman Turks for having separated him and his brother from their family and held them captive. These childhood wounds were a major reason why Vlad III was so brutal in his later wars against the Ottoman Empire. In 1447, Vlad II and his eldest son Mircea were forced to flee Wallachia due to an attack by Hungarian-backed rebel fighters. They are both captured near Bucharest and killed by rebel fighters. And so 16-year-old Vlad III was appointed voivode of Wallachia. In 1448, the rebel leader in Wallachia was ousted with the help of the Ottomans, and Vlad III was appointed voivode of Wallachia. After the installation of Vlad III as voivode of Wallachia, the Ottoman army withdrew. Soon there was another major attack by the Hungarian rebels. After that, Vlad III lived for 3 years under the protection of his uncle, Prince Bogdan II. the ruler of Moldavia. Later, after the death of Prince Bogdan II in 1451, Vlad III arrived in Transylvania, which was a major turning point in Vlad III's life. It was there that Vlad III met John Hunyadi, a Transylvanian warrior who was fiercely opposed to the invasions of the Ottoman Empire. John Hunyadi then offers his help in bringing Vlad III to power in Wallachia. At the same time, in 1453, Constantinople, which was the holy city of the Christian Roman Empire, succumbed to the Ottoman invasion. As the Ottoman Turks prepare for major wars to conquer all of Europe, defending Wallachia from the Turks becomes more important than ever. In 1456, Vlad III went to war in Wallachia with the help of John Hunyadi and won the battle. He later assassinated Władysław II, who had killed his father. Vlad III, restored to power, rules Wallachia for the next 6 years. During this period, he started to be known as the cruelest ruler in the world due to the atrocities he committed. After returning to power, he invites all those who had previously helped the rebels to assassinate his father to a dinner party, after which Vlad brutally kills them all and places the corpses on spears on the borders. But many horrifying stories began to circulate in Europe at that time,
such as that Vlad III would collect the blood of the people he killed in vessels and drink it. Around 1460, Pope Pius II holds a council in Italy. He calls for a crusade to recapture Constantinople, the pride of Christians, from the Ottoman Turks. This war, which lasted for 3 years, was led by a ruler named Matthias Corvinus. Matthias Corvinus was the son of John Hunyadi, who had previously been executed by the Ottoman Turks. Matthias Corvinus goes on a tour across Europe to seek support for this crusade. Vlad III declares his full support for him that day. Vlad III loudly declares that he will not give up his country to the Ottoman Turks. The Hungarian general Michael Siligyo, who had helped Vlad III return to power, was assassinated by the Ottoman Turks, increasing Vlad III's hatred of the Ottoman Turks tenfold. By 1461, Greece had completely surrendered to the Ottoman invasion. With that, the eyes of Ottoman Turkey also fell on Wallachia, which was lying next to it. Soon the Sultan declares that Wallachia is also under his control. The next day, Mehmed Sultan sent 10 of his diplomatic representatives to Vlad III to collect the regular tax money. The Sultan also sent a message that 500 soldiers should be sent with them to fight alongside the Ottoman army. A detailed description of the events that took place at Vlad III's court can be found in the book In Search of Dracula, The History of Dracula and Vampires, co-authored by Radu Florescu and Raymond T. McNally. The soldiers asked the Sultan's diplomatic representatives, who arrived in Vlad III's audience, to remove their turbans to show respect to Vlad III, but they rejected, citing religious reasons. Upon hearing this, Vlad III, enraged, orders the turbans to be nailed to the heads of the diplomatic representatives. Upon learning of the execution of his diplomatic representatives by Vlad III, the Sultan, furious, orders his army, numbering in the tens of thousands, to invade and conquer Wallachia. Vlad III hits back hard against this. In that battle, Vlad III slaughtered the entire Turkish army, spearing many alive. And by 1461, Vlad III directly informed the Sultan that he could no longer pay taxes. Vlad III informs the Sultan that he is ready to negotiate a peace. Constantinople was the place chosen for it. But the Ottoman Sultan, knowing that Vlad the Impaler had declared his support for the Crusades, plans to assassinate Vlad III at that meeting. The Sultan sends an army of about 10,000 for that purpose. But Vlad III, who had already learned this information, launched an unexpected attack on the army. It is believed that gunpowder was used for the first time in the world to kill people in this war. That entire army is killed and impaled by Vlad III that day. Emboldened by this victory, Vlad III attacked Bulgarian towns under Turkish control across the Danube, killing many villagers and impaling those captured alive. Again, the Sultan sends another army of 18,000 to invade Wallachia. But still, the victory was on the side of Vlad III. Vlad III's success with the Ottomans thus continued, and his fame spread throughout Europe. Even the Pope, who called for holy war, knows about this and praises Vlad III. After all this, the Sultan is determined to conquer Vlad III at any cost. The Sultan deploys his entire army for that purpose. It consisted of about 1.5 million soldiers, and the Sultan appointed Radu himself, Vlad III's brother, as its commander. In the fierce battle that followed, Vlad III was unable to hold his own against the Sultan's large army and was defeated. Vlad III eventually sought refuge with Matthias Corvinus in Hungary. Matthias Corvinus then imprisons Vlad III, who came seeking asylum. During this period, Vlad gets married there. After being imprisoned there for 4 years, he was released by Vlad III in the 5th year on the condition that he never go to Wallachia again. But the freed Vlad III headed straight for Wallachia. When Vlad III returned to Wallachia in 1476 with the help of Stephen the Great, who was the voivode of Moldavia, Vlad III was able to gain power there. But he was unable to continue in power for a long time. In late 1476, returning to his castle after a successful war, Vlad III was greeted by news of his wife Elizabeth's suicide. When a group of enemies surrounded the castle and shouted that Vlad III had been killed, Prince Vlad's wife committed suicide by jumping from the castle into the Danube River. Grief-stricken at the loss of the family he loved dearly, Prince Vlad then writes a note cursing his enemies. "You may kill me now, but I will once again rise from the grave that holds me." Vlad III wrote that one day I will return to drink the blood of those who betrayed me. After that writing, Vlad III was executed and his body was buried in a monastery near Bucharest in present-day Romania. Many years later, Vlad III's tomb was broken open and his enemies were stunned. Vlad's body was not in it. This is a very famous legend which is still believed by every man in Transylvania. There are many mysteries surrounding the death of Vlad III, with historians disagreeing on many points, but most believe that Vlad III was killed in another battle with the Ottoman Turks in late 1476. But in his own country, Romania, the evil ruler Vlad III, who brutally killed tens of thousands of people and impaled them alive, is a patriotic fighter who fought against the Ottoman Turks who came to destroy their country. But later in the early 20th century, through the pen of Bram Stoker, Vlad III sinks into more infamy than he had for the atrocities committed during his lifetime. After Bram Stoker's novel, Vlad III was destined to transform into a satanic figure and become known to the world as Dracula. After Bram Stoker's novel, the myth that Vlad III was a blood-drinking vampire began to spread around the world. When we look back into the past, we can see many similar legends and historical facts. It is important to distinguish between these. No matter how much time passes, the Gothic ghost hero named Dracula and the cruel ruler named Vlad III will continue to be the icon of fear in the minds of people around the world.